The essence of Fernandina Beach can be summed up in one sentence. The mayor of Fernandina tends the bar at the oldest saloon in Florida. His name is Johnny Miller, and he's been the mayor of Fernandina for the past 7 years.
Well, you smile. See?
And he's been tending the bar even longer.
Yeah, so I started bartending here about 12 years ago. Retired from the Navy. I was a police officer in Mayport, living here on the island, and became friends with the manager at the time, a guy named Alan Hutman. I get to know the guy. He offered me a job working security here, moonlighting. As I worked security, I learned to bar back, and then Rob Jewell, who's worked here forever, taught me to be a bartender, and I picked up some shifts. So I started here, and this is all I do now. Well, and the other thing too, but
that little thing being the mayor of Fernandina Beach, a town with a lot of history, a history that needs to be protected by its mayor.
We take it very seriously. People like to come back to something that they remember. When people walk in here and they go, man, it looks exactly the way it did when I was a kid, that's a great thing, right?
Being mayor comes with a lot of responsibilities, but here at the Palace, Johnny Miller has fun with it.
People will walk in, they go, hey, I heard the mayor works there. I'm like, yeah, he does. And that guy, he's no good, man. He's a bad guy. And they go, really? And then the customer will say, that's actually, him.
Mayor Miller, the bartender, may be a fun story for the Palace Saloon, but it's just one of many. Being the oldest bar in Florida, it's got a lot of history behind it.
Before it was a bar, it was a haberdashery, or a gentleman's clothing store. It opened up in 1878.
The Sears and Roebuck catalog started coming out and put those places out of business. Well, there's a local brewer and distiller named Louis G. Hirth, and Hirth came from Germany with Adolphus Busch.
Adolphus Busch of Anheuser-Busch fame. And while Busch went off to St. Louis to found his famous company,
Hirth stayed here.
Fernandina is a natural deep-water port and henceforth saw a lot of sailors in its time. And sailors need bars. Hirth saw a market not for the sailors themselves, but for the captains, the gentry of the sailing world. So in 1903, he bought the old haberdashery and turned it into the Palace. The bar was doing well until Prohibition came.
That really dark 13 years that we don't like to think about anymore, he turned it into an ice creamery. He sold gasoline, kerosene, hardware, anything you do to stay open.
Outside of Prohibition, the Palace became a go-to for socialites like the Carnegies and Rockefellers. And it was even the first bar to serve Coca-Cola.
There's a really good chance that this was the very first bar in the United States where a rum and Coke was served, that anybody mixed anything with Coke.
More recently, in 1999, a fire threatened the Palace itself. Local firefighters volunteered to risk their lives to go in to fight the fire instead of fighting it from outside and ruining the Palace. To many, the Palace is a cornerstone of Fernandina Beach. And to Mayor Miller, well, it's where he's going to be even after he's just Mr. Miller again.
No, it's been a fun ride, man. I toured him out this year, and I'm just going to go back and be a bartender. I don't have any further aspirations,
Zain Beverly, inside Jacksonville.